this podcast, we are going to break down exactly what you need to be doing to be a top level online coach. Okay. Not sales, not marketing, not being a business owner. What do you have to do to deliver the very, very best service to your clients? Okay. So what we've done is we've asked for a load of questions from our clients or what our clients think that online coaches might want to know. And we're going to run through them question by question to make sure that all the burning questions that people have got get answered. Lewis has got a list of them on his phone. Let's get started.
So just dive straight in, like there's no particular order. First question that came through, which actually wasn't one of our clients, I put it out on Instagram as well.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
Do you think most coaching these days is now group coaching and that it's sold as being better than one-to-one?
No.
Yeah, I thought that too.
I don't think so. This is what people don't understand about. This is the bit off coaching and into program design, but they are a little bit intertwined. When people, and this is the problem that I think, the problem with launching group coaching as your first coaching program. So there's nothing wrong with group coaching. You can do coaching very well. For me personally, group coaching is a harder skill. It's like taking one-to-one coaching and then doing that to like 40 people at once. So naturally more difficult to do, which is cool if you've got a massive amount of experience or you've done a lot of one-to-one coaching before. I think sometimes people do group coaching for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I agree. So we've seen it before, right? We've had conversations with people where they want to sell group coaching, and when you drill down into why, it's always because it's easier to sell, because naturally it's going to be a little bit cheaper maybe than one-to-one. I think that people think I'm going to dive in with group coaching because that'll be the easiest thing to sell, to start making money out of. But obviously we've seen it so many times where people have previously tried to launch it, come to us, it's not worked out, and then gone about things differently. There's definitely a time and a place for it, right? We ran it pretty successfully.
So my opinion, one-to-one coaching first, cut your teeth, earn your stripes, deliver a high level service, get some really good results. Then once you've done that and that's full and ticking over nicely, then you can launch a group program alongside that, which will give people like a taste of your services and what that looks like. And that creates a really nice like upsell process into your one-to-one. So say, for example, you have 30 clients, you generally, 3 clients generally graduate from your one-to-one every month and leave because they've got the result. You want to make sure that you have those 3 clients upsold on autopilot every single time. Mm-hmm. So, maybe like 10%, that's bad numbers to be fair. You can probably convert 20% of a group program into a high ticket program. But let's say, for example, you take 10%. So you want 3 every month. You want 30 people in your group program. It gives people a chance to learn from you and get some results while they're waiting for the one-to-one or while there's no room in the one-to-one. It's good because you can offer a cheaper alternative to your one-to-one. So for the people that maybe don't quite trust you enough yet or aren't quite in the financial position to do your main program, cool. But you should be doing that from a place of, I'm really, really, really good at coaching and this is a way for my coaching to reach more people, not, I think this will sell better. Mm-hmm. Because you're a coach. Every program can sell. It's just making sure that you're selling the right program to the right people. And I think that's what I was
going to say with that second half of that question. It's sold as being better than one-to-one coaching. It's a different tool for a different task. Like the outcome isn't always the same. Maybe it's a bit of a precursor, like you said, to your one-to-one. It shouldn't be, I'm going to solve this problem with my one-to-one and I'm also going to solve it with my group coaching. I don't think, because I think a lot of people can get stuck in that kind of pitfall of, particularly if they do have 2 things and they've not done it in the right order, they'll spend weeks, maybe months being like, join my one-to-one, it's the best thing in the world. Join my one-to-one, it's the best thing in the world. This is what you get. And then straight away it's join my group coaching, it's the best thing in the world. And you'll get the same thing. Yeah. I think people can confuse people quite easily by trying to do that.
That's just poor offer building, in my opinion. The thing is, just be fucking honest, right? Group coaching is never better than one-to-one coaching, ever, in any stretch of the imagination. The only people that I know that are brilliant group coaches, that are really successful group coaches, do it because they were so good at coaching one-to-one, they got full, and then they were like, this is a way for me to reach more people and have a bigger vehicle. That's it. You can never say group coaching is more effective than one-to-one coaching. It's not. That's why one-to-one coaching is more expensive than group coaching. That's why people that want the best results always go straight into, can I work with you one-to-one? Can I do this? There's nothing wrong with running it, but call a spade, like group coaching naturally has a lower success rate than one-to-one coaching. If you have the same coach 2 programs, a group coaching program and a one-to-one coaching program, the one-to-one coaching program will get a higher percentage of results. End of. And I don't think there's any problem with saying that. We never said that. In our marketing for our group program, when we had a fitness program, we were clear. I still think if you want the very best results possible and you want to make the fastest strides, our one-to-one program is the gold standard. I remember writing that actual paragraph. However, we know that not everyone's ready to do that. We know that not everyone's in the financial position to do that. So this is the next best thing. And that's how we positioned it. We never said, oh, one-to-one coaching is not very good. One-to-one coaching is like people who slate one-to-one, we don't do one-to-one, we do it in a group, is because either they don't want to or they can't make it work, basically.
I'm just going in because I remember that one time, I think it was either the second or the third run through of the group, where I essentially was delivering one-to-one coaching, but we just sold it as a group. Don't do that. Definitely don't do that.
Yeah, that was the opposite to what most people do, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are ones that could kind of like lead off the back of that. So I'm going to do these in a bit of a weird order. So somebody's then asked, what's the maximum amount of one-to-one online clients you can have without decreasing your service? There's a lot. There's a lot of nuance around this. There's a lot of variables. Like, are you a one-man band? Do you have support? Is there somebody else involved? Is it just you? How much time do you want to spend coaching? How much time do you want to spend building? There's so many different things that I think that need to be considered. I would say you need to figure out, when you're delivering your service, exactly how long per client are you spending each week. So if you are jumping on calls with them every single week, if you are doing feedback, again, we can talk about what you should actually be delivering in your service separately. You need to know what that is first, because you've got to make sure, like, realistically, there is, depending on how hard you are willing to work and how much time you're willing to spend, you could take on as many as you want before you start to break. It will be you that breaks. What I think, though, is that will detract away from things like working on the business. Like, when are you going to get time to do that? When are you going to get time to develop systems and processes? When are you going to get time to live, like eat, sleep, all that sort of stuff? We both ran at pretty high client numbers before, and I definitely noticed with me, I was happiest around 40. Just because I think that's how I was happiest splitting my time up. I had 4 check-in days, so I was doing check-ins on 4 different days rather than trying to get them blitzed out in one. I'd figured out what worked for me.
I think it's really individual, to be honest with you. I think you've got 2 sides of a seesaw there. You've got, what do you call one-to-one? Right, because that can be fucking 2 separate things. Some people's one-to-one can be jumping on calls with clients every fucking week. That's obviously going to be a little bit different to if you just do a written check-in with them. And so that's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is like, how much time are you willing to spend? How efficient are you? How good of the systems do you have? Like, I'm not bad at automating stuff. Like, we have Joe that does it in the program now. He's fucking way better than I am. But like, I even said to him, like, when you looked at my systems, like, what were they like? And he went, no, they're logical, like it works. So I could set out like check-in reminders and message reminders and all that kind of stuff. So to be fair, coming from me, I was a school teacher that had 5 classes of 30 kids that had to mark their books every 2 weeks and stay on top of that, and teach lessons, and teach fucking personal sex and health education, and do parents' evenings, and do 2 PT sessions in the morning, and a load of other shit that I was doing in my life. Like, I maybe don't have the engine for it now, but like in my 20s, I could have done it, and I was on top of it. And as long as you're, systemized and regimented, like, I was used to it. I couldn't forget to mark a kid's book, so I didn't forget to check in with one of my clients. Again, it just depends on your reasonings and your motivations. I think that's really what it boils down to. Like, some people just do it for money, right? It's a money play. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think I can handle 60 clients. Why do you think you can handle 60 clients? Because I want to make the money that 60 clients will make me. I'm like, well, that's a different kettle of fish. Like, can you deliver high level to 60 clients? I had 92 at one point. It was all right. I had help in the business doing it, to be honest. But it wasn't a long-term play, but it got some fucking cash in the bank for the business and built it up. Like I wouldn't have done it for 2 years, but for 6 months, yeah, it was fine. Again, it wasn't any worse than teaching. Some people do that for fucking 40 years. I also used to fucking work on the roads with my dad. That was hard as well. Like,
I think it depends on what your perception's in it. Like I was in hospitality, right? 14-hour shifts, opening and closing bars in the same day, getting everything stocked up, cleaned up at the end of the night, finishing at 2, 3 a.m. It's, what's your capacity for work?
I think some people are soft, to be fair.
Yeah.
But with coaching, you've also got an emotional load. Mm-hmm. So like, we were all right with that kind of stuff. Like when I run my fitness business, it was, I want to get in shape. I don't really have any personal demons. I just need someone to kick my ass and tell me not to eat as much and do my training. I need an effective training plan. I need a nutrition plan that makes sense to me. I need somebody to keep me semi-accountable for it. But I didn't have like, oh my God, I'm binge eating. Why does my boyfriend hate me? Why does my missus want to leave me? Like, we never dealt with that. Mm-hmm. Some coaches deal with those issues. That's emotionally quite draining. So there's so many questions that I think if somebody gives you a hard and fast answer on that, they're probably either making assumptions or lying. I'll tell you from experience of working with over 300 coaches on it, the number generally is between 30 and 50 for most coaches. There are outliers, but your average is somewhere in between there, depending on what service you provide.
So that leads us on, to be fair, there's 2 or 3 different questions about this. So we mentioned like systems and processes and that sort of stuff. There's quite a few questions saying, do you really need all that extra stuff for people that just want to get results? So we'll come back to those, but the first one in the most logical order is, when a client starts with you, what are the basics that should be done during an onboarding and then done in the first few weeks to get the best results? What should a coach be giving to their client at the start and doing for them?
This could be really manual or automated. So like, listen, like I'm all for like building out an incredible program, but I'm also for just being a really good coach. And I think when you first start in, people can get bogged down in like, how do I do the perfect onboarding? I didn't have an onboarding. I just used to send people an email that was like, this is how it all works. I'm going to ring you when I've done your plan. Give me 2 days, give me 48 hours. Like that was it. And then I'd get on a call with them and I'd walk them through it, and never had any complaints then. I also never had any complaints when I did it completely automated and I barely spoke to them until I delivered the plan. It was different ways. Obviously, speed and getting things done is key, especially when you've got like 10 people signing up a week. You probably can't do that. You'll forget. But what I don't like to talk about what people should do, because I realistically believe that if you want to take on 10 clients, you can do it with a phone. Like you could literally have a phone, potentially a laptop and an Excel spreadsheet. And as long as you're coaching people through the plan that you're giving them, that's what most people need. The rest of it is for you. I think the rest of the systems are for the coach rather than for the client. I'm one of the people that like pioneered delivering online coaching through software. I used to sell loads and loads of courses on how to do that. I was absolutely fine. And when I get coached, I'm happy with a PDF and a phone call. Like it's speed and efficiency for business, I think, rather than what the client needs. I think if I could sum it up, clarity. That's all they need to know. They just need to know what's happening and when. What you don't want is like to be paying someone, they pay you money, and then they go, oh, what the fuck happens now? Guess I just wait for my plan then. As long as you're clear, I used to be like, day 1, this is what's going to happen. I need you to fill this form. Day 2, I'm going to write your plan. Day 3, I need you to book in on this link and I'll deliver your plan to you. And that was my onboarding. And I'd do everything else with them on the call. And then as you get a bit more time and you start making money in your business, then you can just drip feed it in.
Yeah, I think the question like what should a client be getting, clarity, I think is the most simple way. I'll only talk about like what I did. So when we were at GRT, it was 1 email, develop the plan, jump on an onboarding call, crack on. Then when I started working in a massively different niche, completely different direction, I had an automated onboarding process, which was 5 days long. Each of those days I delivered. So it's niche and issue specific. So whoever you are working with, whatever you're going to be solving, it needs to revolve around that. So like me, I was heavily into relationship with food, real kind of like food issues, as well as kind of delivering fat loss for those people that needed it. So there was a little bit more kind of knowledge delivery needed. It was like first day was about food, second day was about training, third day was communication, fourth day was goal setting, then fifth day was like their program delivery. By the end of that, that was only to get them to the end of week 1, because in that first week, that's where the actual coaching starts. So I would make sure that they knew everything that they could need to know just to get to week 1, because I knew I was going to be speaking to them a week later anyway. So look at your niche, look at the things that they struggle with, look at what they need just to get to week 1. Don't worry about what they need for the entire duration. Don't overwhelm them. Don't throw absolutely everything at them. What do they need to get through to week 1? And then you're going to talk to them again anyway. Then in that first conversation, you're probably going to put out a few fires. You're going to set the expectations for week 2. Don't think that you need to have an all singing, all dancing, bells and whistles, resource library, lessons, all that sort of stuff just to get somebody set up. You don't.
It's just care. I think people just want to know you care. No, I've never seen anyone go, oh, you know what, that fucking first email they sent me was brilliant. Like, no one gives a shit. Like, they just want to know what's going on and know that you're actually like going to look after them. You're worrying about problems that aren't really for a coaching business. Like if it was an automated program or like an app sign up, then yeah, you'd want it to be fucking really smooth and really like, if you're coaching people, they're expecting for you to do some of the stuff manually anyway. So, but it always fucking bothers me that that's a question that people really, really care about, because it's so far down the list of priorities of what a coach needs to be doing that it doesn't even come into the radar.
You're going to love the next 2 then. And I'm going to tie these together because they're essentially the same thing.
Are they about onboarding?
No. So
good.
Do you think that there is a need for all the extra fancy bits coaches offer, videos, educational portals, etc.? Are they necessary for clients that just want results, as in fat loss, muscle strength? Second question, similar thing. Even though my clients are getting the results that they want, I still sometimes feel like I should be adding more to the service to make it worth the money, in what are they, quotation marks, whatever. I don't want to start adding unnecessarily fancy elements that will overwhelm my clients.
Whoever sent that last message is probably quite clever.
So this is a difference between just coaching to get somebody a result and developing a program, I believe.
Yeah, I think people like overdo it a little bit. Like we built like a client portal with all the videos. Guess who that's for? Me. So I don't have to answer every fucking question that comes up. It's a resource to help you with coaching. It's not really something that I'm going to expect a load of clients to go through. Like everyone, right, what's the main niche of everyone?
Fat loss.
Well, just busy people. Busy mums, busy dads, busy business owners. Everyone's fucking busy. Do you think anyone really, really, really wants to sit down and go through your members portal? No. Do you think anybody realistically will go, you know what I'm going to do on Sunday afternoon? I'm going to go through my coach's members portal and watch every fucking video.
I'm going to learn about carbohydrates today.
No one gives a shit. It's just YouTube. You can go on YouTube if you really want to know it. They'd be fine. What it is for you not answering the same fucking questions all the time. So like the word need, I think is the one I have the problem with there. Mm-hmm. Like if you want to handle more clients and not have your head fall off, you need to add elements like a training portal that's going to streamline your service. That's why that's one of the reasons why it's important to have a niche. Cause like, imagine you trying to build a training resource for every person that could, I want to help everyone. Cool. You're going to be making videos until your fucking eyes bleed. Well done. Enjoy that. You're going to literally have to build an encyclopedia of training and nutrition for every fucking human being walking the planet.
Yeah.
Or you could pick a specific people and then just build really, really good resources for them. So like need, not a problem. I think a lot of people look to, oh yeah, I'm going to do these webinars. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's like, do you send your clients a birthday card? No. What do you think might be a better way to actually get your clients long-term buy-in? Send them a birthday card or build a 92 video resource portal? Send them a birthday card.
Yeah, it goes back to that question before of like, how many clients can you handle on a one-to-one basis? The reason that we did it, and then when I set up on my own as well, did it again, like repurpose the videos, was for that reason. So I had a rule when I set up as Body and Brain, when I had my own company, is if I answered a question twice, I put it on a list. And when I had some time, I created something for it, whether it is a PDF, a worksheet, a video, whatever. Because if it's been asked twice by 2 different people, more people, and again, going back to the importance of having a niche, probably all got similar struggles. Yeah. You know that if it's been asked twice, it's going to get asked again. So do you want to spend 10 to 15 minutes every single time it gets asked, explaining it to different people? Or do you just want to have something that says, actually, really good question, I've created this thing to explain everything that, like, all the application that you could need. Go and watch this.
I would do it because I think it helps you create good content as well. Like, you can use those as resources to send out in your marketing. Like, do you want to know the 5 best foods to keep you full for longer? You already did a video on it from your clients anyway. Here's the training. So, like, that's sound. But I think on top of that, listen, it depends on where you are in your business as well. Like, if your sales and marketing's going really well and, like, maybe it's one of the quieter months, it's not bullshit, we all have a quieter month. Yeah, go in the back end of the program and work on stuff like that, because, you know, December, you might not get the most sales in the world. You know, you're going to be a little bit quieter. Use that time to either recharge yourself or refresh your program and add those nice bits on. But what coaches do, seem like, yeah, so I've got a members area, I've got this, I've got how many clients? You've got 2. You don't really know whether anyone really wants to buy this thing yet then, do you? No. How many hours have you put into that? About 40. Okay, that's clever. I would make sure that you can sell it first and people want what you're selling before you go in buying all that.
That's something that I'm really clear on with the people that I mentor within our businesses, especially if they're starting, not from scratch, but fairly new, 5 clients or so, and they're taking clients on at a steady rate. People do worry about this stuff. It's like, oh, I need this, I need that, I need that, I need that. I'm like, until you are running at nearly full clip, you've got time to do it manually. Don't worry about it for now. Get the people in, cover your bills, make sure that your head's above water, that you're not, like, literally not able to...
Working phases.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, it's undoable, all right? People think like, oh, I should be developing a program, I'm making sales and marketing and doing all this all at the same time. It doesn't happen. That's why people hire a team. When you start going back and focusing on product, sales and marketing will naturally slow down a little bit. You've only got a finite amount of energy you can spread through. So you need to look at your year as a whole and be like, right, this is when I'm going to push sales and marketing. This is when I'm going to be setting up for a big sales and marketing push. However, this is when I'm likely to be quiet. This is when I'm working on product development. This is when I'm doing that. And your goals will shift over the course of the year, depending on A, what time of year it is, and B, what's the biggest factor in your business right now that needs the most attention. That's it. So, like, people have this, when should I do this? When should I do that? And I'm like, I don't know. Have you got all the data for your business so we can figure it out? No. Oh, so you're just making it up. Yeah. Sound. Okay. That's a really good idea.
So you mentioned a couple of things in there, 2 questions about retention. So best ways to keep clients long-term and set examples on what to do, and some examples on what to do, long-term strategies to get clients to stay longer than 12 months other than just getting results. Community.
Yeah. Community and showing that you care. They're 2 big things. I don't know why this is such a big deal with online, because people keep PT clients for fucking years. I think the problem is, well, that answers the question. They don't actually get to know the clients. They don't build those relationships. And that's why, if the client sees it as transactional, so as soon as the program that they bought in for stops, they stop.
That's it. I was just going to say, yeah, positioning. It's like, oh, come to, like, so many people, we see it all the time. Come to me. I've got this 3-month program and it'll be the last program that you ever need. It gets to 3 months and then they're like, why is all my clients leaving?
Yeah.
me?
Like, look, a small amount of people sign up for a personal trainer for, like, an end goal. Like, I want to do this. I want to get to this. Way more people understand the value of having someone in your corner to do this stuff for a long time. Like, I always have a fitness coach. I always have a nutritionist. Always. You know why? Because I've got a fucking massive business to run. It's not my priority. And if I made it my priority, then my business would suffer. So what I do is I pay someone whose priority it is for them to make sure that I do the stuff.
Yeah.
And I have them year round. Like, and that's the whole point of it, because, and PT clients know that. They know the benefit in being with the PT year round. They turn up to the gym. They do the workouts. They work harder than they would do on their own. So if you're having retention issues, you're probably having quality issues. I'd say that's the thing. Your clients aren't seeing this person is adding massive value to my life on a monthly basis. They're just like, oh yeah, well, I get taught a little bit about nutrition, but now I know it. So, like, what am I doing? And that's probably because of a lack of accountability and a lack of actual coaching in most programs.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways. Like, I think it's initial positioning of, you'll work with me for 6 months. I'll teach you everything that you need to know. Like, I think that's the first one.
I'd argue that most of them already know what they need anyway.
I think then off the back of that, the questions that we've answered before is, what is the need in all this extra stuff? I'm not going to say that having extra stuff is going to keep people for longer. What I found with mine is that when people were on they got started on that whole journey of weight loss, realistically, you teach them the basics. They don't need to know anything else. For me, what really helped was having specific tasks, worksheets, stuff like that. Again, I was helping develop mindset. So having those things where it's like, oh, well, this month we're going to focus on this. We're going to work on this extra thing. I think that really helped, because whilst the fat loss, so many people come to us and I used to get so many people come to me, clients, be like, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm doing now. I'm going to go away and do it. It's like, you can't really. I think the thing that people need to bear in mind with this is, if that's true, you did your job.
I don't think it is. I think not. I think enough coaches aren't honest. I think I don't think they understand the problems of the target market. They're like, I'm the last coach you'll ever need. No, you're not. How many times have we heard people say that? What are the statistics on people that go back to putting the weight on? I don't even know what the number are, because it keeps getting bigger. But most people on their own do not make fitness and nutrition and health their priority. They just don't, because they've got other shit they care about. The people that naturally make it their priority are the people that become fucking personal trainers in the first place. So like, I just think at some point you have to be honest with people and be like, you need a coach to get you there, and you're going to need some sort of coaching to stay there, because probably as soon as I stop talking to you, you're going to slip back into old habits, because it's just how society has programmed you. And it takes way longer than 3 months to solve those problems with people, way longer. So like, if you're saying, how do I keep clients longer than 12 months? Tell them that realistically, if you want to get in incredible shape and stay there, or build an incredible mindset and keep it that way, you're going to need to invest into coaching for a very long time, until it becomes second nature. And stuff doesn't become second nature in 3, 6, even 9 or 12 months. It becomes second nature when you've been doing it for a considerable period of your life.
So just going off the back of that, and not one of the questions, because I know there'll be people watching it, coaches watching it, that are like, if I try and sell that to somebody, there's no chance that they're going to go for it.
Don't sell it them first. Like, sell them what they need right then. People low, like, who are in a painful position, they need taken out of pain. So you need to take them from whatever bad position that they're in currently that they don't like, and you need to get them in a position that they do, an achievable one, and one that they can believe in. Because if you say, I'm going to make sure that you never fucking put an ounce of fat on again and you'll never need a coach forever, then people are going to be like, yeah, that's bullshit. So achievable goal first, so they actually succeed in something, start building some confidence, and they trust you. Then be honest with them. Look, this is a long-term process, and that needs to happen from the day they start working with you. You need to pull that veil down. It needs to be like, you will get the result I promised you in 90 days. But if you think that's the end of the journey, absolutely not. So a lot of coaches have shot themselves in the foot by being like, I'm the last coach you'll ever need. You know, that's them potentially trying to say, I've got the answer to all of your life's problems and I can teach them you in 90 days. Coming from a fucking 25-year-old that's never experienced life outside of living with mum and dad. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being 25 and being a PT and living with your mum and dad, but stop telling people that you're going to solve all of their problems forever. You're not. You are a tool that they are using to get from A to B, and you are a guide, and you will have to continue to be a guide and a coach for them to stay there. You're not. Most people haven't got an educational background. They don't know how to set up. I'm going to educate you on this. No, you're not. You're just telling people what to do. Yeah. Which is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. And then you coach them through the problems that are stopping them doing what you're telling them to do. People overcomplicate it and they make it into such a bigger process. Like, you know, people have, like, I have a business mentor, a business coach, like, for me to stop me being a bad business owner. I would rather have that than not. It's just the way the world works. Yeah, I agree. So there's one last one about kind of like program and design and delivery and that sort of stuff, and then some like varied ones which are quite cool actually. So off the back of all that, then what are some ways to continue giving value within your program? So, and for me, this one comes down to continued development, whether that is physical, whether that is mental, whatever that is, right? For me, even still now, I would never and do never stop educating myself as a coach. The way that I view it is, once I've taught you what you need to know and we're on that journey, I will continue to learn things and tell you what you need to know out of that. I think this is something we do really well as well, to be fair, at FBU, is like we had a question in the Facebook group, right, about which book should I read, and you jumped in and was like, I'll read them and I'll let you know what you need to know. I'll synthesize that information. So I think continued development, whatever that looks like, whether that is physical, mental, both. I think
slotting in like events as well worked really well for me anyway. Really, really well for me. Whether that is gym-based events where you get people together for a bit of a workout, going out for food. I've recently started throwing like a full kind of public speaking event where I get different speakers in so they can learn from different people. I think stuff like that, once all is said and done and you've, like I said, you've delivered the information that they need, at that point, it's how can you continue to like enrich their life without just giving them shit that they don't need.
Yeah, I think boils down to two things. Give them valuable help. Give them a good experience. Like the experience of working with you should be fun and cool. Like when I go buy watches, I go to like watch shops and I sit down and I look at all the watches that I'm not going to buy and buy the one that I want. I could get a watch delivered to my house off Chrono24 for probably cheaper and it would be fucking way more convenient because it just comes straight to my house. But part of it is the experience in the same way that like I could build a gym in my garage. It'd be no fucking problem. Could have everything I needed in there. But I go to the gym because I like the environment. I like being there. It's part of my schedule. And that's what you need to build. You need to build it into people's lives. But a lot of coaches, they don't think about it. For them, it always has to be like training, nutrition, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They don't think about, right, how can I weave like training and nutrition and health into, a community of people that want to work at better things. I think that this whole like, business owner thing, people do it way too much. It's overdone, but there's nothing to stop you. Like, as a online, I'm trying to think of a specific niche, but like as an online trainer, looking at like what current jobs that your clients do they all do a similar job? They probably do. How can you build things in that are going to allow that? Are they all parents? How can you build things in that allow them to be better parents or like relieve the stress from being a parent? Like that's when you look at perfectly tailoring your service. And yeah, it's quite high level, but that's what you have to do to be really successful long-term. If you do that, if you build something that people want to be continually part of because it enriches their lives as well as holds them accountable to the training, nutrition and the fitness and stuff like that, that's when you've got a winner. And this is where like when people say about group one-to-one, I'm always like both. The one-to-one is the bit that drives the results and the group is the bit that drives the experience.
Yep.
And if you get both, if you notice that a lot of your one-to-one clients aren't participating in your group, it's because your group and your experience is poor. Because if you made it valuable for them, they do it. They'd be in there. It's not that they don't have time. They do have time. They just don't see the value in being in there. So that would be an alarm bell to me that that's not good enough. In the same way that like, if they're participating in all the group stuff, but they're not doing the check-ins and they're not doing that, then the coaching's bad and the delivery of the actual value that they came for is bad. Usually it's more the group that's the problem than the one-to-one, but it happens. So it's about marrying those two things up.
It's tough to get right though.
Mate, yeah, it's not really fucking simple. To get right. Like, you're thinking, how do I build a community perfect, like for these people that they want to engage in long-term? But that's why it's beneficial to have a niche that you work with because it helps you narrow that down. It's also way, way better to understand those people so then you can build something that they actually want.
Even then off the back of that, like you also have to be, what I found, and I learned this the hard way, is you also have to be very selective of who you actually sell to, right? You get people on a call, you're talking to them about coaching. We've talked about this on one of the previous episodes, the whole beer test of, could I go for a beer with this person and not talk about fitness? If you've built a community of people, particularly if they're, I don't want to say vulnerable because I can't think of a better word right now. And then you let somebody in who's not quite the same as everybody else, and it can become it can have a poisonous effect on the rest of the group.
It's bad for everyone because they feel like they stick out and you feel like and everyone else feels like it's kind of throwing off the dynamic.
It's not easy to do.
No, but that's the beauty. That's one of the skills in building a business is building a program that is well catered to the people that you want to help.
Yeah, absolutely right. So now we've just got a load of random ones. The only stupid question that we got the entire time was, can cats fly?
I know what the answer in my head is and I'm not going to say it. So
I'll say it. It depends how hard you kick them. Just get that out there.
That one's getting banned.
That's just for Abby. No, it's all right. I checked in advance. Right. Okay. So setting physical and emotional boundaries for yourself in your coaching business.
Ooh, physical boundaries are easy.
Yeah.
Just have write down the physical boundaries and deliver them to clients when you start, and then you don't break them, because you breaking them once invites them to break it whenever they feel like it. So set adequate boundaries and do it. Emotional boundaries is just about just not taking it on as personal baggage. I think there's two ways this happens. Clients unloading on coaches, their own personal problems, or coaches feeling the personal need to make sure that every client succeeds within the program. And I would argue probably that that's the one that's more emotionally draining. I think the coaches that have clients unload on them, it's either not very frequent, so they're all right with it, or they've gone into working with the audience knowing that that's part of the job.
Yeah, and not being equipped to
I think when
handle
coaches say it's an emotional drain, it's because they just don't relax about the realistic outcomes of coaching programs in general. Like, you've got to let it go. It's not everybody's going to succeed in a coaching program, or else everybody that sold coaching would have 100% client results, and everybody would have, the body and health and fitness that they wanted. It's hard.
I was really guilty of this. I was really guilty of this until I realized that exact thing. And there's a couple of sayings that I like, right? Is that you can only ever match somebody's energy. You can't want their goals more than they want them.
No, I agree.
And a sentence that I don't even know where I heard this, but it encapsulates it perfectly, I think, is that you can't save people that are swimming away from you. So if you're like lifeguard, right? Somebody's out swimming, Coast Guard, whatever, swam out to the fucking ocean and they're swimming away from you. You're not going to continue chasing them.
You are if you're a lifeguard, because
whatever.
You're legally
you know
bound
what I mean,
to.
though. You
go to jail if you let someone drown and you're watching them.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that's why they told us we got paid more. What if they're
actively swimming away from you? Do you still have to keep chasing them down?
You would hope as a lifeguard in a 25-metre pool, there wasn't many people that could drown and swim away from you at the same time. You always ruin everything,
don't you? Right, let's go to the ocean then. What about in the ocean? You know what I mean, right?
I once got in for someone, that was like bouncing off the bottom just as a joke. In my trainers as well.
We're getting way off topic here.
I know, but it's a good story. He was a big dude. And he was like bouncing up and down off the bottom. And I thought, no adult's bouncing off the bottom. He's not a fucking child. And I thought, he just can't move. So he's like jumping his head above water. So I've like got down off the chair and hit the alarm and dived in. And I fucking got hold of him. He's turned around and go, what are you doing? And I was like, oh my God. I've set the alarm off and I've got in my trainers. And the fucking bloke's not even, he was bouncing off the bottom for 5 minutes. So he's like letting himself go under the water and then bouncing back up. And I was like, what were you doing?
I think Goggins talks about that. Is that not like some sort of test to get into? He definitely weren't trying to get into the SAS.
Not in our parade, you weren't, no.
Yeah. Right, but yeah, so it's tough. You can't want a client's goals more than they want it for themselves. Like, so many people are like, oh, they're not making progress, they're not getting the results that they want. That reflects badly on me. Not if they're not putting in the work, it doesn't. Not if they're actively disengaged, if they're ignoring, if they're not doing the things that are necessary. I think a lot of the coaches that I talk to, again, through the different things that I do, I think are a little bit scared sometimes to have the hard conversations with people and almost set the expectation that this is going to be hard. There is going to be some sacrifice. So I think that emotional, not baggage, but it gets heavy emotionally when people aren't doing that. The coaches aren't having the conversation, but then still feeling maybe some guilt or maybe some sort of insecurity that the clients aren't making the progress that they need to.
Yeah, I think it comes down to experience. I think a lot of coaches, no matter how well educated they are, no matter how long they've been in the industry, they carry this, like, and I don't know whether it's from society, right? They carry this chip on the shoulder, like, I'm not good enough. Like, no, I've got to prove myself that I'm good enough. So then every client that doesn't get a great result, they take personally. Like, I came from a background of teaching like Manchester city centre kids physics. All right. So I had to deal with a lot of, why is my kid not doing very well in your class? I'm like, because your kid's an arsehole. Like, that's why. And I didn't say an arsehole, but I said they don't listen or they're not doing that. If your kid doesn't do the homework and then they come in and they're not passing the class and the mum and dad's like, why are they not passing? I'm like, because they're not doing the homework. You're very, like, in the education system, it's very easy to just be like, well, you didn't get the grade because you didn't do the work because you weren't listening. That's it. Sorry. But in the fitness industry, it's like mad. Like, some people just like take we've had clients before that have like come in, paid and just not done anything. And have like rang them every day, like, hey, have you filled in your application form? Hey, have you filled in your application? Like, nothing, like, just not even done. And then I'm like, well, why am I bothered? Like, it's your money. At the end of the day, like I'll deliver exactly like whatever you ask me to deliver. But if you don't do anything, what am I supposed to do? In the same way of like, some people just aren't going to achieve things sometimes. Sometimes people need to pay a coach, fail, and go away and be like, fuck me, I wasted all of that money. I need to change this about myself. Whereas if you take it personally every time that happens, I don't think you're going to be in a service-based business for very long. Like, you have to just understand that in most programs, no matter how good you are as a coach, the numbers don't move that much. Like, obviously, if you're absolute fucking terrible, your numbers are going to be bad. If you're absolutely brilliant, your numbers are going to be above average. But there's an average success rate of most programs, online coaching programs, online business programs, online whatever. Like, there's a natural success rate, and you just have to accept that. And if you get upset every time somebody doesn't do it, I think you're setting wrong expectations of what you're here to do. You're here as a vehicle for people to change themselves, not for you to drag them kicking and screaming. Yeah,
for sure. If they're only paying X amount per month for an online coach, you'd have to pay somebody a lot more for them to follow you around and slap the food out your hand and like...
Yeah, but even then, did you ever watch fucking those ones where like they used to do it on TV? The MTV ones where they'd have a personal trainer and they'd literally fucking live in them and they'd like beast them twice a day. These cunts were still fucking off to like Chinese buffets at the end of the day when the guy had gone home to sleep, like eating out of the fridge. You're like, you could literally live with someone and the second you fall asleep, they're going to be in the fridge eating biscuits. Like, I don't know why you put biscuits in a fridge, but never mind. So people have got to want to do it for themselves, okay? My issue would be if a client's actually doing what you've asked them to do and they're engaging with the program, and then it's not working, then you've got a problem. But I have never, to this day, had a client that's engaged with the program, even the ones that have struggled and not done everything perfectly, but engaged with it and engaged with coaching, that haven't had a successful result. It's never happened.
Same,
So then I'm like, cool. That's why, like, whenever I get a customer service issue, I'm always like, right, have they done what we've asked? No. Okay, but there's some problems. Okay. Did they engage with us on that? Like, did we get a chance to actually help them through it? Were they open to getting help with that stuff? Yeah, if they did those three things, but again, it's never happened. Those three things happened, cool. We either come to a resolution, if whatever's affecting them is so bad that we can't solve it, then fine, we come to a positive resolution for the person. Or if they don't engage with the stuff, like, what can you do? Just got to get over it.
There's always going to be a small percentage of people that do that. There's always going to be a small percentage of people that sign up, then see what it takes and then disengage. There is always going to be that. But for the most part, the way that I always look at this is that nobody's coming to you to pay you 250, 300 quid a month to then actively want to fuck up. So yeah, I think it comes down to that, exactly what you've just said. If they are engaging and they're not making the progress, then maybe the thing that you set them in the first place just wasn't the right thing. Work with them to find what they can stick to, what's most likely for them. Obviously, there's got to be some bare minimums, some non-negotiables. If they are doing what you've set them, then you have to swallow the pride and say, okay, I set them the wrong thing. Like, it's not working. So I think, I know we've got slightly off topic, but it comes down to that boundaries thing of for me, it's expectation management.
Of yourself as well as the client.
Yeah, and setting those expectations from the off. If you do this should happen. If that doesn't happen and you've done this, that's on me.
Yeah.
If you don't do this and this doesn't happen, unfortunately, that's on you.
I do it sometimes, and I think it's natural as a human to always focus on the bits that are like not going as well, or like the negative bits. So like,
it's negativity bias.
Well, but like we work on percentages in our business. Like, less than 5% of our whole client base, we've got flagged up as like they aren't engaging in the program in the way that we would want to. And I sometimes get caught up with focusing on that sub 5% than the 95+% of people that are doing really well. And then I like look at the figures of like how many coaches have got to like 50 grand a year, for example. And I'm like,
we're doing all right.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah. So off the back of that, it follows kind of logically. So somebody's asked, what is the SOP? So the standard operating procedure of knowing when it's time to just cut ties with a client. I know this will vary dependent on situation and person, but when is the moment that you need to know you have done all you can and it's time to call it? They've answered their own question. Have you done everything realistically that you can, including have the hard conversation. For me in this, there's always a hard conversation out there. If they've completely disengaged, there's not a lot you can do. But if it's back and forth and they're butting heads and they're not implementing and stuff like that, for me, the last straw is that hard conversation of, you need to sort this. I had it multiple times with clients where they'd come to me and, I always fail. I always quit on myself. I always do this. I took them on anyway. And then they'd come to me at the end and be like, I'm quitting again. I would sit down to them and say, no, you're fucking not. And I'll guarantee that nobody else has had this conversation with you. If you quit again, it won't get better ever. Like, you have to be able to sit there and say to somebody sent me a reel earlier, which is fucking fantastic. And I'll put it on my story after this, was the whole, it's a guy basically doing a coaching call with somebody, and it's got to the point where they're at that stage and he's saying, look, you're either choosing to quit or you commit. Like, which one is it? At some point, it is that black and white. Are you doing this? If you aren't comfortable or capable as a coach to have that conversation, that's just you're just kicking the can down the road. So I think for me, when you should call it quits with a client, I don't like the terminology firing a client. I think that's a fucking dickhead thing to say. But have you done everything in your power and it's still not working? If so, refer out or accept the fact that there's nothing more that you can do. It doesn't mean you're any less of a coach.
I think you have to, listen, if you feel like firing clients, you're working with the wrong clients. Mm-hmm. Like, even if we get a fucking really, really, really difficult, abrasive, I'm still like, right, I was young. I've been an angry person at times. I've made the wrong decisions for myself. We need to make sure we get this person on the right path. We'll have the conversation. Look, we'll say, look, if you carry on down this road, this is what it's going to be. Cool. And I can do that because I have the energy for it, because I want to help coaches make more money. I want to help people make a better life for themselves. If I ever got resentful of it, this coach isn't doing everything fucking perfectly and they're causing me a problem. I'm in the wrong job. You're not there to help people. Then you just help people I don't know what you're doing, but you can't expect to coach people and never have to deal with problems. Mm-hmm. I feel like some people are like, well, he's not sticking to the plan. I'm like, did you think it was going to be as easy as writing them a fucking nutrition plan, sending them on the merry way? This is the reason why you're saying Google will never take over me. AI will never take over me because it doesn't have that human touch. What the fuck is getting rid of someone as soon as they don't do what you say?
Yeah.
If you don't like helping people through those problems, don't be a coach.
In the wrong job, yeah. With
coach different people and just accept it. Just be like, I fucking don't like doing it. Cool, don't.
It doesn't matter what sort of, with us, we're helping people grow the business, with fat loss clients, with any sort of physical coaching, transformation, whatever. There's always going to be an element of there are some things that you need to do, right? There are some things that you're going to need to do. For me, the conversation is, these are the things that you need to do to get this thing that you want. Are you, client, willing to do that? Yes or no? If you're not, I think we're done.
And we'll just say, I don't know what you're paying me for.
I think
that's an agreement. That's do you not want to do the things I'm asking you to do? No, I don't. There's nothing I can say to you that's going to make it worthwhile. I'll run you back through the things that you wanted to achieve at the start of this program. Do you not want those anymore? No, I don't. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, in a bit.
The issue comes when the person then keeps saying, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do want that. Yes, I do want that. And then they're still not doing the work.
If they want to keep giving themselves the chance, I'm going to keep trying until I then have to go, hand on heart, I don't think there will be a coach that's good enough to get through to you, but I'm not. Mm-hmm. Either I'm not the right personality, we don't have the right kind of relationship, or I just don't have the coaching skill, but that may be what it is, that I've ran out of, have you ever seen when motorcyclists crash the bike and they're always like, I just ran out of talent. That's the phrase that they use. So they don't crash, they call it running out of talent. So apparently you should be able to ride a bike fucking through traffic, through all this. I just ran out of talent. That's what it is. Just admit, listen, I've ran out of talent with you. Tony Robbins might get you, but I can't.
Yeah. If you could start as a coach again, what would you have done differently or sooner? I would have got a niche faster. I was one of those people that was so resistant. I want to help everybody. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I did pretty well. I had a wide range of clients. The moment I figured out the way that I thought about it was what issue I am best equipped to solve.
Yeah.
Everything, not just client results, not just my experience as a coach, business, financials, the lot. at that point was where things really started to click and accelerate. So that's what I would have done, is I would have accepted that even though I probably could help most people, not everybody, find that set of people, find that set of problems and just go fucking balls deep on it.
I'd have just sacked people earlier, I think.
Yeah.
I think I did everything pretty well up until like I started hiring people, and then I created jobs for people that they didn't want, clearly. Yeah. So like, I should have just sat. People should have been like, listen, like you've got to want this job as much as you said you did when you started. I'm not here to fucking try and motivate you to do a job. Like they were well paid as well. Should have just fucking sacked people sooner.
Yeah. So this is quick fire on this. So careful with language, use of language. How many coaches post April 2020 to?
I think you can say lockdown.
Post lockdown, do you believe have got into this game for the wrong reasons?
Depends what your class is a wrong reason.
Yeah.
Like what's the wrong reason?
Yeah, I would imagine the person means maybe just for financial gain because they think it's easy, that sort of stuff. I haven't got an answer for this one. I've been thinking about this one. I don't really know.
Right. I disagree with the fact that every business has to be born out of passion. Mm-hmm. I think it helps. I think it makes it easier and I think it gives you more energy. But like, I met a guy that sold a company for like tens of millions of pounds, probably maybe even hundreds, that sold high-vis jackets. I don't think he woke up every morning being like, oh my God, I can't wait to go and fucking sell these high-vis jackets. So listen, it's a business. People need it. People want it. It actively solves a problem. Like if you get into it to make money, sound. As long as you do a good job.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck whether you're doing it every business is in it to make money. Yeah. Would you do it if it was free? Probably not. Some coaches actually do coach people for free. So that's maybe a different kind of process. But of course, people launch businesses in sectors that they don't love because it's a good way to make money. No one gets up with a fucking hard on about doing Forex trading every morning. Like it just makes apparently it makes good money. So some people do it. That's fine. Like if you're getting in and knowingly delivering a shit product, you're not in it for the money. Like but you're not in it for the money because you're not going to make any real money long term. You don't make a bit of money. You've got to be a fucking idiot, right? I'm going to try and build a business. What are you going to do? Deliver a shit product? Not sure how that's going to work.
We both know somebody. I'm not going to name drop. We both know somebody who started a coaching business because people were asking her for advice. It started to go pretty well for her. I don't think she ever had a passion in coaching or developing a coaching business. As soon as she started to realize it was going well, the first thing she removed herself from was coaching. And she then started doubling down on the lead gen side of things, the sales side of things. I'm not going to give out exact numbers because I don't know them. She's doing incredibly well now. She didn't get into coaching business because she was passionate about coaching. She got into it because people were asking her for help. She was good at giving the help and people were willing to pay her a lot of money and things of, so it goes back to what you said, defining the wrong reasons.
I think that's that question always comes from somebody that's not making as much money as they want to make, and sees other people that they think being noble ain't going to make you build you a business. Unfortunately, I wish it was that simple. I wish you could just really love the industry and make money in it. It doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. Like, sorry, it's life.
Yeah. Final question: define coaching in one sentence.
That's a daft question.
You think?
Yeah.
You're not even going to give it a go.
Help people.
Help people.
Help people do things that they can't do on their own.
Do you want my wanky answer?
Go on.
I would say...
I knew that's why I said it's a daft question, because I knew you already had a pre-planned answer.
No, I don't have a pre-planned answer. But
I thought you have a thing that you say every time you get this question.
For me, it's about empowering people to make decisions for themselves. That's what I think.
Have we not just said the same thing?
What?
Have we not just said the same thing?
What did you say?
I can't remember.
Help people do things they can't do themselves. Yeah. Empowering people to make decisions for themselves. Is that the same thing?
It's not that far apart.
Yeah, fuck it. So we're both on the same page. What a way to round it up.
I don't think anyone really keeps themselves up at night thinking about that.
I just thought it was a cool question to end on.
Well, we have. Hopefully that was useful, all about coaching. If you've got any questions about coaching, feel free to deliver them to Lewis. If you've got any better questions than define coaching in a sentence, then you can ask me as well. But if they're like that, just send them all to him.
Cheers, pal.
In a bit.